Good evening, and welcome to an evening of candidates. I'm David Jones, the chairman of the Graves County Republican Party, and I would like to thank a few people before we get started. I'd like to thank the community of Fancy Farm for letting us use this podium that they use at the Fancy Farm picnic every year. I'd also like to thank Josh Heath, put in a lot of work, and Randall Heath, he's going to be keeping time tonight. And the purchase players, they wanted me to say that the concession stand is open. It's going to be open all night. And also that they have season tickets available. Their season ticket posters in the back, and you can buy those tonight. So the format for tonight, it's going to be a little different than what a party usually puts on. We open this up to all the candidates, no matter party or nonpartisan race. So every candidate is going to be allowed 3 minutes to speak on whatever topic they want. There's not going to be a set format for questions they have to answer. So I'm going to call up the first 3 sets right now. If they can make their way to the stage, the 2nd District State Reps, Commonwealth Attorney, and Judge Executive candidates, can they come up here and be seated? And thank you all for coming. We didn't know, we've never done anything like this before, so we didn't know how many people to expect here or what kind of turnout we'd have. And I like to see how many people are watching on Facebook. This is being broadcast on Facebook Live and will be available on YouTube tomorrow if anybody's wondering about that. Okay, so we've got a lot of people to speak, so we're going to get started. And first, we're going to let the 2nd District State Representative speak. And the first speaker, well, actually the only one here tonight, is Richard Heath.
As you know, we just wrapped up the 2018 session in Frankfort, and there was a lot of legislation that does a lot of good for a lot of people. The one that got the most attention was the budget, the pension, and the tax reform. And I want to take just a few minutes to try to touch briefly on each one of those. Passing a budget is a constitutional responsibility of the General Assembly, as you know, and one that we take very seriously. Every dollar coming in and out of Frankfort comes from the hardworking people of the Commonwealth, and every dollar goes towards a vital purpose. This budget allocates a record high $3.3 billion for Kentucky's long-neglected pension system. This, combined with the reforms that we have made for new hires, will fix a pension system that is among the worst in the nation. Our teachers, law enforcement officers, state workers deserve a secure retirement, and that's what we are delivering on. We also increased per pupil SEEK funding to a record high $4,000 per student. And on the revenue bill, we took the first steps to level the playing field between Kentucky and Tennessee, lowering the income tax on every worker in the Commonwealth to a flat 5% and giving them more take-home pay. This will simplify the tax code and the tax rate, and you'll still be able to deduct your mortgage interest, your charitable giving, and your Social Security payments. At the same time, you will cut your need to prepare your tax returns because it's a much simpler form now. Kentucky's income tax is now the 10th lowest in the country. We also lowered the rate for the corporate tax to a flat 5%. In so doing, it moved Kentucky from 33rd place to 18th place. So while everybody hears about the pension and the budget, we did a lot of other good this season, and I want to share just a few of those with you. We made some historic reforms to the Kentucky's adoption of foster care, streamlining the process for placing children in loving homes. We put children and families first with this measure, as well as raising the pay for social workers. We also tripled the average monthly benefit for widows of Kentucky's first responders who die on the line of duty. We continue to work to limit abortion in Kentucky, passing strong pro-life legislation. We reformed Kentucky's welfare system to eliminate fraud and abuse, and we stiffened the penalties for predators who recruit Kentucky's children in life of gang activity. So these are just some of the many items that we passed. It was a very productive session. We have changed Kentucky for the better in 2017 and 18. We're making it more pro-life, bringing record jobs and investments to Kentucky, improving the lives of children and families and making them safer and giving them more resources to succeed. In fact, Moody has moved Kentucky up in their ratings since we solved the pension problem or addressed the pension problem. So I want to say thank you for the support you've given me in the past and ask for your vote again in November. Thanks.
Okay, next we have the candidates for Commonwealth Attorney. First speaking will be David Hargrove, and then immediately after him will be Richie Kemp.
Thank you, David. I have to get used to holding this thing. Normally I'm speaking off the cuff a little bit, but I made a few notes just so I would stay on task. And in 3 minutes here, it's difficult to do that sometimes. In 26 years of prosecuting, I've handled virtually every type of case that exists, from the sexual abuse of a 1-year-old to the rape and sodomy of a 6-year-old to death penalty murder cases. My record is unmatched in this area. I have a nearly 100% conviction rate, and that is earned, in all honesty. And to that point now, that we're at a point where, and honestly, most of the cases wind up pleading guilty because they don't want to take it on for trial, because we've earned that respect. You earn the respect through work, through hard work, through many trials in my past, and through being prepared. No defendant ever pleads guilty because he thinks he's going to get off. If he thinks you're not prepared, you're taking him to task. But if you are prepared, you are going to get the bad guy. I've done this these 26 years by running this office as a part-time office, because that's what it is. I don't know if many of you understand how the Commonwealth Attorney's Office works here, but we are classified as a part-time office. What does that mean? It's simply pay, in all honesty. We get the caseload of some of the bigger cities. Whatever crime happens, we get. And we have to handle it like that. And it's simply a part of pay. You probably have heard at times that they want to make this, my opponent wants to make this a full-time office. That won't happen. Right now, it won't happen. It's not in the budget. And all that would mean anyway was adding about $50,000 to the pay that the Commonwealth Attorney gets, doing the same job that you're getting done right now. I help protect the elderly. In fact, I was named Commonwealth Attorney of the Year for my prosecution of elder abuse and protecting the rights of the elderly. I protect children. I've tried cases, not only sex abuse cases, I've tried cases that have led to shaken baby syndrome being recognized as a legal malady here in Kentucky. And victims, no one can say that I don't protect victims and that I'm not a champion of victims in the courtroom. The prosecutor's job when he gets in the courtroom is to make sure that the bad guy goes to prison. And I am unmatched in that. I'm running for this office because the job is not done. I've been endorsed by the Graves County Sheriff's Office, by retired state troopers, all who I've worked with for nearly 20 years. And believe me, they don't endorse me because of my good looks. They endorse me because I've done the job and I know how to do the job and I still want to do the job. And in this job, you better have the maturity sometimes to make what are very difficult decisions, even if they are not popular. And I think I've proven that. I ask for your vote and thank you very much.
My name is Richie Kemp, and I want to be Graves County's next Commonwealth Attorney. I was born and raised in Graves County. I went to Simpsonia Elementary, graduated from Graves County High School, Murray State University, and SIU School of Law. I've been an attorney for 13 years. I have a private law practice, Kemp and Wright, where I practice law with Jesse Wright. I'm also president of the Graves County Bar Association. I'm proud of that title because it reflects the respect I have for my peers and other attorneys in the community. I also serve as assistant county attorney for John Cunningham. I've held that position consecutively since 2009. My role is that of a juvenile prosecutor. So I prosecute juveniles who committed offenses, and also in cases where there's children who are neglected or abused, I'm the prosecutor. It's my job to make sure that they're kept safe. I also served as assistant Commonwealth attorney for over 10 years. In my time in that office, I tried more felony jury trials than anyone in Graves County, and it's not even close. And with great success. I'm proud to tell you, I win a whole lot more than I lose. In addition to my trial experience, I'm also very proud of the work I did with the multidisciplinary team when I was in the Commonwealth Attorney's Office. It's known as MDT. And when I first started in that office, it wasn't meeting at all. I didn't even know what it was. Someone brought it to my attention that it should be meeting. I looked into it, and I'm proud to tell you that under my leadership, when I left that office, we had been meeting for years, once a month, with Kentucky State Police, the Sheriff's Department, MPD, social workers, PASAC, CASA, all in one room, meeting once a month, and we reviewed every single child sex abuse case in Graves County to make sure no one fell between the cracks. If I'm elected, there are a number of ways I intend to improve the office. First and foremost, we're going to plea bargain less and try more cases. Every prosecutor has to plea bargain. It's a necessity of the office, but it happens far too much under my opponent's leadership. Weak plea bargains lead to convictions that go to conviction rate, but they also lead to felony offenders getting put back on the streets as a result of lenient plea bargains. I'll put an end to that. I'll make sure everyone in the office is working hard to earn their taxpayer-funded salary. Right now, the Assistant Commonwealth Attorney, the only other attorney in the office, has not tried a single jury trial in more than 11 years. If I'm elected, everyone in that office will work hard and they'll earn their salary or they won't be working in that office. Also, I will give Graves County a real victim's advocate. They don't have one right now. Victim's advocate under me will contact victims, notify them of their court dates, let them know when a defendant's about to be released, help them with the victim compensation fund so they can get reimbursed for their medical bills when they have bones broken because they've been assaulted, or they need to cover funeral expenses because they've had a loved one killed. The victim's advocate under me will have an office and a phone number where when victims need help, they can contact that person. That's not happening now. The bottom line is I want to do good for Graves County, and I ask for your support on May 22nd. Thank you.
Next, we have up the candidates for the county judge executive seats. First speaking will be Michael Dick, and then followed by Greg Higgins.
Thank you. As mentioned, my name is Michael Dick. I've lived in Graves County all my life. I'm a 94 graduate of Graves County High School. I started attending fiscal court meetings a few years ago. And the reason that I've got into this race is I have sat back and watched the numerous amounts of tax dollars that are being wasted. And I won't go into specifics right now. If you'd like to talk to me after we're done speaking, I'm more than happy to explain to you what I'm talking about. I look forward to working with not only the attorneys, the representatives that we have in the state, being local and U.S., to try to bring jobs to Graves County. I'm not going to stand up here and promise that I can do that, because no one can sit up here and say, hey, you know what, I'll bring jobs to Graves County in the next 3 years. It took 6 years to get General Tire to come to Mayfield. So anybody that sits here and says, hey, I'm going to bring Toyota, GM, anybody like that to Graves County, there's no chance. The only way that's going to work, guys, is if everybody works together. And it doesn't matter what party you belong to, what your beliefs are, everybody has to rally around Graves County to make that happen. And that's my plan. I'm not big on politics. I've never been into politics. This is the first time I've ever got into it, guys. I don't like to look at it as politics. I look at it as business. And that's what Graves County is. The judge executive and the fiscal court's job is to manage the county's money to the best of their ability. maintain our roads, our infrastructure, and that's not happening, guys. So I would appreciate your vote in May, and I also appreciate your vote in November. Thank you.
Good evening. Y'all enjoying? Huh? Yeah. Thanks to the organizers of this event, Josh, David, all of you. And it is unique. You know, it's been a while since I've run for office in this area, but this is unique. Early in the campaign, even going into the primary, we're united with the candidates from both parties being invited to a forum and to speak this early in the deal. That's remarkable, and that shows progress in the way that we need to move forward. So again, thank you for the organizers of the event. I remember my first trip ever to Frankfurt was in 1981 as your state senator-elect. I had never been to Frankfurt in my life, even as a student. Now young students are up there all the time. Frankfurt, Kentucky, the capital of the Commonwealth. So it's been a long journey since 1981. I retired in October of this last year as president and CEO of the Kentucky Association of Manufacturers, and have learned a myriad of things through that time. I also served in the U.S. Army. I like to tell a little story about that at the expense of my wife, Carol Ann. When I graduated from Gresham in Owensboro in 1969, that first Saturday, I graduated from college, went for my Army physical that week, got married the next Saturday, and about 2.5 months later, I was at Fort Campbell in basic training. I'm a former Vietnam veteran, small business owner in the city of Mayfield and in the county. I was elected to the state senate in 1981 and served in that capacity through '82, when I resigned my seat to take the cabinet for natural resources and environmental protection in Kentucky at the bequest of Governor Brereton Jones, and also served as his special assistant. And while I was in the legislature, I was elected into leadership, which is critical. Leadership is important. Titles are great, but the ability to lead and move things forward is vitally important. So I believe I have the qualifications to bring things together. There are 2 points that the vision of our campaign here this year is. Number 1, our vision is to make our county the hub of agriculture, business, and industry through collaboration and tying our various entities together. Number 2, everything working in a very positive, straightforward way, and assure the people of Graves County and Mayfield that their money will be spent appropriately and properly. I love this area. I was born and raised here, and I look forward to hopefully with gaining your trust and vote in the May primary, and if successful there, in the vote in November. May God bless you, and may God bless Graves County and Mayfield. Thank you.
Thank you all. Next, would the candidates for Secretary of State, 1st District Commissioner, 2nd District Commissioner, and Jailer be making their way up here. Again, I'd like to thank you all for coming. We didn't really know what kind of turnout we'd have tonight, but we wanted to offer something for the primary race. We normally host a breakfast before the Fancy Farm picnic. But again, that we've never done anything for the primary races. And since we were getting everybody together anyway, we thought we might as well throw it out to everyone. Okay. Next up, we have the candidate for Secretary of State, Michael Adams.
Thank you, and thank you for having me tonight. My name is Michael Adams. I'm a Christian, a husband, a father, and a lifelong Republican. I grew up in McCracken County, where voters then were 85% Democratic, including my family. My dad worked for the railroad at the VMB Paducahville shops. My mom commuted to Livingston County every morning to work at Ledbetter Family Dentistry. My parents were Democrats, and their parents were Democrats. But fortunately, I got the recessive gene. From before the time I was old enough to vote, I was working for campaigns for Republicans in Western Kentucky. Republican candidates like Happy Hogenkamp and Bob Prince. I worked my way through college and was the first graduate in my family. I did well enough in my studies to make it into Harvard Law School, which I attended with aid for the less fortunate. My goal was to become, someday, an election lawyer of the Republican Party. And after working for Senator McConnell, Governor Fletcher, and President George W. Bush's Justice Department in Washington, I got my wish. I was named General Counsel for the Republican Governors Association. And for the last 11 years, I've helped them compete in governor's races in all 50 states, including the last 3 races here in Kentucky. I also built a successful election law practice for Republicans, where I represented Vice President Pence, the National Federation of Republican Women, the Republican Attorneys General Association, various individual governors and congressional clients. And then in 2016, Governor Bevin did me the high honor of appointing me to the State Board of Elections here in Kentucky. I'm here tonight to ask for your consideration in next year's Republican primary for Secretary of State. The Secretary of State is the chair of the State Board of Elections and Kentucky's top elections official. With all humility, I believe I'm the best qualified person for that job, qualified by my experience as a nationally recognized Republican election attorney and by my service on the State Board of Elections. I'm uniquely suited to help make it easy to vote and hard to cheat, to police our elections and ensure they're free and fair, and to use the office of Secretary of State to encourage citizen participation. There's one more thing. I can win. With 25 years of experience helping Republicans win here in Western Kentucky and across the United States, I know how to build and how to finance a winning campaign. We Republicans gave Allison Lonergan Grimes a pass, not once, but twice, because we didn't nominate a strong candidate who could raise money and establish credibility with voters. Let's not make that mistake again. In 2019, let's win by nominating the best candidate. Again, my name is Michael Adams. I want to thank you all for your attention, and I look forward to meeting you tonight afterward. Thank you.
Next, we have the 1st District Commissioner candidates. First up will be Timothy Fulton, followed by Richie Galloway.
Hello, my name is Tim Fulton, and I'm running for County Commissioner, District 1. I'm 54 years old, and I've lived in Graves County for 27 years. My wife and I raised our family in Graves County, and we're proud to call it home. I currently own and operate a CNC state-of-the-art machine shop in Graves County. We employ 8 to 10 people. I live and work in my district. I'm always available. I'm not retired. My wife and I traveled many of Graves County's roads and back roads for this campaign. We traveled from Duketon to Fancy Farm, to Kaler, Farmington, to Melbourne, to Golo, Sedalia, and many other great areas. We even looked for that exclusive Golo Panther. We realize there are hardworking folks across this county deserve more work than the current administration has provided them. I was asked to run for county commissioner, and after much thought and research about Graves County's current situation, I said, how could I not try to help the great people of Graves County? Being a longtime businessman that understands what it is to make weekly payroll and manage a successful business, I believe this gives me some of the experience and qualifications to be a great county commissioner. So after hitting the roads on the weekdays and the weekends, I turned to the internet at night to do some research about Graves County. Here's what I found. We have 39,000 people. We have 650 miles of roads. We have 300 plus bridges, give or take on all. Of that 39,000, we have a poverty level of 12%. Yes, of 21%. Our national average is 12%. This means we have 8,000 people living in poverty with an annual income of less than $14,000 in our county. That's $300 a week to live on. That's very sad. Also discovered that the average single income is $18,000, and a family of 2 or more's average income is $38,000. Tough to live on and make ends meet. The average driving distance for a person to go to work in Graves County is 23 miles. Folks, that means they're leaving our county and working elsewhere. This creates loss of revenue for our county. In 2016, we lost 6% of our workforce. We had another plant closing, Remington Arms. 400 jobs lost. Before Remington, so many hours I spent speaking with officials to try to keep Remington here. Our county officials, our city officials, failed all those 400 employees. They failed you, and they failed me. Imagine 4 to 8 more years of this kind of thinking. If I'm elected to this position, I have vowed to give a portion of my first year wages to the Votech School here in Mayfield, Graves County. This is the first seed I'm going to plant, to try to keep our students here. If we keep our youth, we keep our community. I have one final question. Is Graves County better today than it was 4 years ago when these officials were elected? Follow me on Facebook. I appreciate your time and consideration, and I ask for your vote on May 22nd to help make Graves great again. Thank you.
I want to say thank you to the Republican Party for hosting this event tonight. My name is Richie Galloway. I'm your Republican candidate for re-election for Commissioner in District 1. I'm married to Kathy Simpson Galloway. We have 2 children, Nathan and Amy. Nathan is married to April Hall Galloway, and they have a daughter, Sophie, which is our granddaughter. And it's been an honor to serve the people of Graves County over the last 3 years, while in my first term as your commissioner. And it's very important to me that our county grows both economically and through improved infrastructure. I found the experience I received as a manager at USEC and while serving on the Graves County Board of Education very beneficial, whether it be preparing a county budget or dealing with issues that arise while serving as your commissioner. In giving great attention to the budget, we've been able to provide funding to the Graves County Sheriff's Department to allow for 2 additional deputies. We've also started a fleet rotation program that allows for more reliable police cruisers for the deputies of the Graves County Sheriff's Department. We've upgraded many pieces of equipment at the County Road Department and been very busy with the maintenance of over 650 miles of roads in Graves County. We continue to consider the needs of the residents of Graves County and understand the importance of high-speed internet in today's ever-changing society. Serving as your commissioner, we provided tax incentives for new business, for expansion of existing businesses. In the past 3 years, the fiscal court has partnered with the Graves County Economic Development Board in bringing over 800 jobs to our county. We've partnered with the Mayfield City government to purchase land for park development near Cass Creek to allow for additional recreational use. We also partnered with the Mayfield City government to provide more reliable ambulance service to the people of Mayfield and Graves County. We're always looking for ways to be more efficient and strive to be good stewards of the taxpayer's dollar. I invite you to look at my Facebook page for more information. Please like it and share it. I ask for your vote to re-elect me as your commissioner in District 1, May 22nd. Thank you.
Next up, we have the candidates for 2nd District Commissioner. First speaking will be Tyler Goodman, and following him will be Brad Youngblood.
Good evening. My name is Tyler Goodman. I'm your Graves County Commissioner representing District 2. I'm married to Alex Goodman, formerly Alex Adams. My parents are Tony and Cheryl Goodman. Grandparents are Jeannie and Linda Mason and Clint and Elida Goodman. In 2002, I graduated from Graves County High School. I graduated from the University of Kentucky in 2006. After graduation, I knew I wanted to come home. There's no place like being around your family, and there's nothing like our hometown. So when I moved home, I got a job at Arkema, and I've been there ever since. In 2012, I wanted to get more involved. I wanted to help out our community. So I started being involved in our local Republican Party, which several meetings and several events with these fine people that have put on this event, and they've done an outstanding job, and we greatly appreciate it. I also decided I wanted to run for Mayfield City Council. I was elected to Mayfield City Council in 2012 and spent 2 years on the council and learned a lot about government, our local government, and how our money works for you, the people, and how it can better work for us. In 2014, I decided to run for the Graves County Fiscal Court as a commissioner. I was elected in 2014, and in that time, I served on many boards, many committees, including the Need Line Food Pantry, Airport, Chamber of Commerce, and a few others that I've served along the way, and it's been very beneficial. One of the best things I've been able to do is meet people, and you can do that campaigning, and you can do that through your daily walk as a commissioner. But listening to people, talking with people, having an open and honest dialogue is where you learn people's feelings. Get their comments, their concerns, what they want you to do, but the first thing you have to do is listen. And that's what has helped me try to be the best commissioner that I can be. I want to talk to you about 4 things tonight. I know I've talked to you about a few others, but these are the 4 main points I want to make. They're the quality of life in Graves County, the educational and training opportunities in Graves County, and the infrastructure in Graves County. Well, I said 4, there's one more. And the bringing and retaining industry in Graves County. And you might think, well, jobs, why is that 4? People can come up here and say jobs, jobs, and jobs, but you got to have the other 3 to get the 4th. You can come out here and wish jobs, but I'm going to give you an idea of how we will bring jobs to Graves County. The first one is quality of life. As has been mentioned before, we've partnered with the City of Mayfield to grow our parks and recreation offerings. We have a fishing pond at Kess Park. We've increased the lighting, increased the park access. We've hired a interim parks director. We've had hundreds of people from in town and out of town come to our park and use that and bring their tax dollars to Mayfield and Graves County. Educationally, we've partnered with Graves County High School and Mayfield High School to become a work-ready community and expand the offerings of not just educational things, but skills, crafts, and trades that they can use directly after high school and go make a good living right here in Graves County. Infrastructure, we continue to invest money to improve your roads, bridges, and take advantage of our location with I-69, 45, 80, our rail, and our local airport. So with all that being said, anybody will give you a building, any community will give you land, and anybody will say that you have the best workforce. But we're going to do our best to make sure that this is what exactly happens, and we can prove it with that. This is how we are going to bring industry to Graves County. This is how we're going to keep our people here, and this is how we will grow Graves County. I appreciate your support. Thank you for your vote May 22nd.
Hello, my name's Brad Youngblood. I apologize, I didn't memorize my speech. I had to work today. My wife, 6 children, and other family members live and work right here in Graves County. For that, I'm very passionate about the issues and conditions that currently affect our county. More now than ever, we need tough, experienced, and transparent leadership. My opponent has just talked about some minor accomplishments. 4 years ago, I think we were promised a lot more. I've been accused of running for personal gain. I am running for personal gain, and I think you should vote for personal gain. If elected, I will create economic growth and jobs. I will create additional revenue. I will gain. My children will gain. If that happens, your families will gain. Your business gains. Your lawn mowing or landscape company gains. You sell more cars and gas. You build more houses. Your family can build more rental complexes. Today, only a few experience personal gain. If you want personal gain, you have to get out and vote. My opponents, I feel like, are running scared, overstating accomplishments. They're out knocking on every door for your support. I want to know where they've all been in the last 3.5 years. Did they come to your door when there was a massive layoff? Did they come to your business to see if they could help? Did they ask you how a new road might affect your property? Did they invite you to the fiscal court for your input? Did they implement new ideas to create stronger workforce? Did they come to you, local developers and real estate professionals, to ask for your advice? The answer to all of these is no. Well, I promise you they made every photo op for every ribbon cutting. I'm not about that. Cardinal and Eagle fans, in the last 4 years, our county and our city has fought each other ferociously for tax base, payroll, jobs. Our fiscal court even fights within itself. The battle of the birds needs to stay on the sports fields. We must all unify, creating strength to compete against each other, to compete against other counties. I will call on and listen to local business owners to help with creative solutions. I will be transparent in every decision. I will help develop a plan to make sure our road department has the resources they need to serve you. I will create a more competitive purchasing system. I will fully support local businesses, law enforcement, and all other important services. I will call on a group of businesses. These will be volunteers to revert many economic development functions back to Graves County. Tim Fulton and I have agreed to use a portion of our salaries to set up a trade scholarship and to help local VOTEC purchase additional equipment. All of these things are planting seeds and benefiting our children. I will fully utilize and promote all available resources, including workforce development programs. I'm not a puppet, and I will not make everyone happy. I like to win. I want our county to win. Winning takes hard work. Winning takes sacrifice. Winning requires some level of risk from everyone in this room. I'm not talking about me winning an election. I want our county to win. I have the backbone, work ethic, experience, and resources to help change the climate of this county and the way we do business in general. I have experience in the field of construction manufacturing. I have created developments, I have created jobs, and more than $100 million in county revenue. I have done what they only promise. I'm confident as commissioner I can do so much more. Thanks for your support and vote.
Next, we have the candidates for jailer. First up will be Randy Haley, followed by Donnie Reed, and then finally George Workman.
Good evening. My name is Randy Haley. I want to thank the Republican Party for allowing me to speak tonight. I am asking for your vote to re-elect me as your jailer. It has been an honor to serve the citizens of Mayfield, Graves County. I've been married 40 years to my wife, Debbie. They have 2 children. Amy, her husband is Justin. Colt, his wife, is Neely. And I have 3 beautiful grandchildren, Nia, Creed, and Steele. In my 15 years as jailer, I have expanded and created many new programs, including, but not limited to, religious services, GED, MRT, new directions, and anger management, and so forth. I have sent deputies to school to be certified instructors. I have turned in about 50% of a $2 million budget to the fiscal court. My 17 years in corrections, as well as my 24 years in experience in law enforcement, qualifies me for the job. Knowledge of all administrative aspects of the job is needed and is accepted by all outside agencies. Along with the Department of Corrections, I relate to them quite well. I have expanded the population of each facility which helps to bring in $75,000 to $80,000 a month from the state of Kentucky in bed law. Loyalty, dedication, hard work is what I practice. Remember, vote for Amy is vote of confidence. I look forward to advancing the jail and RC Center in the future as your jailer if you elect me. I ask for your vote May 22nd. Thank you.
My name is Donnie Reed and I'm running for jailer. I work at the jail. Started in January of 2012. I'm a supervisor at the RC Center, Restricted Custody Center, and I'm also the education coordinator. The programs that he just talked about are the programs that I oversee and make sure that they get done and done with the most amount of inmates. I'm a lifelong resident of Graves County. My parents, Rex and Jenny Reed. I got 2 children, Austin Reed, Jenny Beth Caldwell. A grandson, Keaton Caldwell, and in August, my granddaughter will be born here in Graves County. I love Graves County. I've been here ever since day one, and I plan to be here for the rest of the future of my life. I've served on the Graves County Board of Education for 10 years. I was a member of the Mayfield Graves County JCs. I was a member of the Sedalia Lions Club, and I'm currently serving as Assistant Chief on the Sedalia Fire Department. I believe that we have to do our community work to help Graves County be better. And that's one of my goals, is to make this whole county better. We have GED, NCRC, National Career Readiness Course, Portal's New Direction, and MRT, which is Moral Recognition Therapy at the RC Center. Currently, we have about 40 people enrolled in those classes, given all of them. Inmates need these kind of courses if they really want to get out and better themselves and to become productive citizens again. But we need more courses. We need more classes to have them to get ready. It's going to be up to them to make the decision if they're ready to be productive citizens or whether they're going to go back to the same life that they had. But we need to have the courses there to help them. When you elect me as your jailer, you can expect clear and accurate and full financial reports given to the physical court at every meeting. When families come to visit, they will be treated in a helpful and very professional manner. And also, I want to install kiosks at the jail and the RC Center to make it easier for them to put money on the inmates' books. Deputies will receive the same benefits as the other county employees. I'll work with the physical court on our current overpopulation in the jail. Also, when I'm elected, I will put an end to nepotism in the jail system. The time is now. Elect me as your jailer, and let's all work together to make Graves County a wonderful place for our loved ones and their future. Vote for me, Donnie Reed, in May.
I'm George Workman, and most of y'all know me. I've been here for quite a while. First of all, I'd like to start off thanking the Republican Party for putting this on. For a simple $20, not only do I get to do one of my favorite things, which is talk, I also get a tan, so I'm getting that thrown in. What I'd like to bring to you today is the fact, first of all, for those who don't know me, I would love to say that I'm a lifelong resident of Graves County, but I went in the military and served my time there. That kept me away for a little while, and just to let you know how much I love Graves County, I was a detective at another police department out of state after I got out of the military. I took over an $8,000 a year pay cut to come back here and work at a job for Bob Morgan. And during that job, I was making less, and I'm not exaggerating, you can look it up, I was making less than people over here flipping the burger at McDonald's. I did that and bought my own car so I could come back here to Gravestown. Now, I have worked for some great sheriffs who have taught me quite a bit, taught me how to care for people, taught me how to serve people, taught me how to know people. And I don't mind sharing those with you. You know them, Bob Morgan, one of the greats, John Davis, and another one of the greats right behind him, Dwayne Reddick. I've learned so much from them. At this current time, I think that the thing that needs to be brought across in Graves County is the fact that we need to quit voting with our heart. We need to quit worrying about whose family is what, whose family did this, whose family did that. I have family as well. All of them went in the military, the male part anyhow. Well, y'all know most of them, Corbin, John, Sam, my dad George, and Carver. However, they weren't around here all the time, but their son, one of them, was the vice president of the union out here at General Tire as well. I have visions. What you need to start thinking about is, what does somebody bring to the table? I don't have a vision for me. I have a vision for what this county can get from that jail. I want to change it from the appearance all the way down to how they treat you, how they can take care of our county by cleaning it up, the training that's provided to them, the training that's provided to the inmates. They need to be trained for jobs that they can get. They can't get jobs in sitting in money, handling money, because they've been convicted of a felony most likely. They need jobs with trades such as welding, carpentry, things along those lines. Give them some skills that they can use. And hopefully we can train them so they don't come back. Anyhow, time's up. I could share more with you anytime that you would like to hear. Reach out to me, you know where I'm at. Thank you, and I appreciate your vote.
Okay, next will the candidates for 2nd District Constable, Coroner, and Mayfield Mayor be making their way up here. And you all can get up and move around if you need to. The concession stand is still open, and I'd like to remind you again that you can purchase season tickets for the upcoming 2018 Purchase Players back there also.
Good. How you doing? It was. Well, no, you think I did a good job too.
Oh, you're coming. Well, y'all both work up around.
I get a lot. Yeah.
Well, y'all gonna have to put up a You dress like.
You dress like it, you get like it.
No, you're wrong there. Ask him. I don't even feel physical cold.
I'd like to thank everybody for sticking with us this long. It looks like we're probably a little more than halfway through, maybe. Okay, up next is the 2nd District Constable candidates. First up is Michael Riley, and then following him will be Randy Wyatt.
Thank you. My name is Michael Riley. I'm asking you to re-elect me as your constable in District 2. Now, everybody wonders what a constable does. He can do anything that a sheriff can do. It's a constitutional position. Has same authority, same powers as a sheriff. I have 38 years law enforcement experience. 24 years with Mayfield PD, with the Mayfield Police Department, and then I retired from over there, and John Davis says, come over and come to work for me. So I did. I was with them for 10 years, worked for Sheriff Davis and Sheriff Redmond, and then I ran for constable 4 years ago, and y'all elected me. Attended the police academy in 1981, and I've been to 37 in-service classes since then. May 1st, I will start my 39th year, and my next class is scheduled for June. I had 24 years. I had 24 years in the military, through active duty and National Guard, and I currently work in help bailiff court and transport prisoners. I went to Grant County, Kentucky today. Probably most folks don't know where Grant County, Kentucky is, but it's 35 miles south of Cincinnati. I'm married to Patty Riley. She's bookkeeper in the circuit clerk's office, and my youngest son is here tonight. My oldest son is at work. I think if you reelect me, you'll get professional service and to treat people in a fair but firm way, and enforce the law that the state of Kentucky allows us to. Ask that you consider me during the upcoming election, and thank you for your time, and ask for your vote May 22nd. Thank you.
Thank you. My name's Randy White. My name's Randy White. I'm married to Terry White. I'm a lifelong resident of Mayfield, Grace County. Graduated Mayfield High School in 1983. Worked 23 years at Mayfield Fire Department before retiring. Worked at Grace County Sheriff's Office, Chief Deputy for Courtroom Security. Served 8 years as your previous constable in District 2. District 2 is a little bit different than the rest of the districts that the commissioners run in. The commissioners you can vote countywide in the commissioner's race, and in District 2, you have to live in that district in order to vote for your constable. A lot of people say, well, I didn't see your name on the ballot. That's because you don't live or vote in my district. So that's important for people to know. Well, I didn't see, why I couldn't vote for you or whatever. We have to live in District 2, which covers all of the city, most of Old Dublin Road, New Dublin Road, and out Dolo Road, Williams Lane, out in that area. Getting back to me, I've been married to my wife for 25 years. Got 2 beautiful children. Nicholas Wyatt, he's graduated of Grace County High School in 2015. He attends Murray State. He's a junior. Works at F&B Bank. That's where I work as well. He majoring in business administration. He wants to be a loan officer. I'm proud to say that I'm very proud of him. Nicholas still lives at home. Good Christian young boy, never been arrested. Very proud of him. I believe he'll come back here and work in Macon, Grace County. Got a daughter, Megan. She's 15. She attends Grace County schools as well. Another one of my jobs is, when I was your constable, I never carried a gun. Didn't feel like I needed to. My job was process service. What that means, that's serving papers. Matter of fact, after I lost the election, Sheriff Sam Steger in Caldwell County called me and says, hey, why don't you come work for me? I said, Sam, I don't want to wear a uniform. I don't want to carry a gun. He said, you ain't got to worry about that. Come to work for me. So for the last 3 years, I worked at Caldwell County Sheriff's Office, where I'm still employed as a full-time process server for Sam Steger. I work 2 jobs. I work 80 hours a week. Why? I've got children to raise. It's awful that you have to work 2 jobs and draw a pension to put your kids through college, but you do what it takes. So May 20th, I'd like to ask for your vote. May 22nd. Thank you very much.
Next up, we have the candidates for coroner. First, we'll have Tony Sheridan, followed by Brad Jones.
My name's Tony Sheridan. I've lived here in Grace County all my life. Went to the Lowe's High School, graduated from Lowe's. Married to the former Amber Shepherd. She's was born, lives here. I've got two sons, Jeremy and Jonathan. They both live here in Grace County. I worked for the Mayfield Fire Department, retired about 4 years ago. Worked there 16 years and volunteered for the rescue squad for probably 20 years. I worked under former Coroner Philip McLean as a deputy for 6 years. And in 2016, I was the interim coroner when Philip retired early till the election there in November. I've got the experience, I've done the job, and I don't think there's anything wrong with what's going on in the coroner's office now. It's just that I feel like this time I'd like to ask for your vote and do the job myself. I work part-time since my retirement. I work at Duncan's pharmacy 2 days a week delivering prescriptions. So that's not going to interfere with anything that the coroner's office does. It's a very important job. Most people, you don't want to hear the coroner's name. So we can't promise you anything except come there when you have to have us and respect your family, respect you, and do the job as best as we can. I appreciate your vote and consideration. In November, I am the Republican running, so I really appreciate the chance to be your coroner. Thank you.
My name is Brad Jones. I am your current coroner. I served 15 years as a Graves County Deputy Coroner. I was trained by the Department of Criminal Justice and certified through the Kentucky State Medical Examiner's Office. I am a licensed funeral director and embalmer. I've been in the death industry over 25 years. I took over the coroner's office, as Tony said, after Philip McLean retired. He took over as interim for a period of time until the next election, and then I won the election. I think we've done a real good job. We try to treat every case with reverence, dignity, and respect. That's what I require. I have a good staff working for me. Good deputy coroner is very professional. We'll be running in November, and I appreciate your support to re-elect me. Thank you.
Thank you. And next up will be the candidates for Mayfield Mayor. First will be Stephen Elder, followed by Kathy Onan.
Thank you all for coming tonight and listening to the candidates. My name is Stephen Elder, and I am a candidate for mayor. I'd like to share a story with you. I grew up on a farm between Fancy Farm and Lowe's, and when I was still in high school, I would work cutting tobacco on the farm. One day, we had way too much down, and we weren't going to get it up before nightfall. So we worked real quickly, got it loaded onto the scaffold wagons. I drove the tractor from the field to the barn, and on the way there, I hit a pothole. And most of that tobacco fell off of that wagon. So we had to stop, pick it back up, put it back on the wagon, and again head to the barn. Whenever we got to the barn, I had to assemble the tiers. And it wasn't a real large barn, 3 or 4 tiers high, several rooms out, and then we started loading the barn. The work began, and just as the night had fallen, so did those tiers. So the tiers came crashing down, all the tobacco came down, fell on the hay. My Uncle Jimmy said, "The heck with it, let's go home." So we did. It was a defeating day. I sat there at my house and I thought about the tobacco that was on top of that hay. And I said, this is probably going to ruin. So I didn't sit there long. Got back in the truck, went back to the barn, and with just the truck headlights, I started to reassemble those tiers and started to rehang every stick of tobacco. It took hours of lifting, climbing, and determination to get it finished. But I did so, and the next morning I had school. Didn't get much sleep that night, but I wish I could have seen the look on the workers' faces when they got to that barn and saw all of the tobacco hanging safely in the barn. Besides showing the work ethic that I put forth, that night I learned a very valuable lesson. You don't really know how much you can do until you get up and decide to try. That's the same work ethic that I've had my entire life, and that's the same dedication and passion that I would bring to City Hall as your next mayor. What the city of Mayfield needs now more than ever is to pass the torch to a new generation of ideas. We need a candidate who can communicate, collaborate, and commit to this city a new forward vision. One of the first things I would do or want to focus on is asset-based growth. Focusing on your core assets is one of the fastest ways to grow your local economy and create jobs. Second is neighborhood revitalization. You know, in the last 3 years, we have only built 3 homes in Mayfield. We need to bring forth ideas to combat this challenge. Third, having served on Parks and Recreation Board, we've seen vast improvements in our ballparks. We need to continue to support these activities to keep our children active, engaged, and outdoors. Among the 2 candidates for mayor, no one will work harder than to move this city forward. I will do all that I can with all that I have to make this a prosperous community. I ask for your vote, your prayers, your influence, and your support. Thank you very much.
I'm Kathy O'Nan. I'm also running for mayor of the city of Mayfield. In 1987, I became a widow, and I had 2 small girls, ages 6 and 3. And both my parents and my husband's parents said, please come home, you need help raising those children. But I'd lived in Mayfield for 11 years, and I knew that was my home. I didn't want to go back to where I'd grown up. I wanted to raise my children here, and I wanted them to be able to put down their roots here. That's one of the main reasons I'm running for the mayor. I want more young people to make that statement. I want to stay here. I want to raise my family here. I want to put down my roots here and my children's roots here. We can do that, and we can encourage students and young people to do that by more jobs. Everybody wants that. Everybody wants that. Everybody wants more economic development. The city works with, as well as the county works with, the Graves County Economic Development, and you can just look around to see that we have made great strides in collaboration with those groups since the loss of our major industry. But there's a long way to go, and we all can play a role in that, even if we're not involved in the leadership process. More positive thoughts about Mayfield, more complimentary thoughts about Mayfield, and comments make our city even more, when we believe it, then it becomes even more attractive, and we believe it and we push it. As a member of the City Council since 2004, I'm extremely proud of the efforts that have been made to bring more industry here. And I promise you that if I am elected mayor, I will certainly dedicate my job life to making that list longer of places where people can be employed. But to do that, I think we need a full-time mayor, and I'm the only candidate who can offer that, to be a full-time mayor. I think the people of Mayfield deserve a person who will be in that office working for them all day, every day. In just a few short days, 16 to be exact, but who's counting, I will retire from a job that I have loved. It is my heart. I've taught almost 4,000 students that have graduated from the Mayfield City School System. I want them to be the ones, as well as the students who are yet to graduate from both the Mayfield system and the Graves County system, to want to put their roots here. I loved it when Commissioner Tyler Goodman said, I wanted to come back here. And working together, and with me as your full-time mayor, that's exactly what I hope we can encourage our youth to do, plant their roots. Thank you very much.
Okay, we have quite a long list here, so if everybody could just remember who they're going after, that would speed things up a bit. Okay, first up we're going to have George Quentin Taylor, followed by Brad Rogers, Carol Todd, Derek Herndon, Keith Roach, Johnny Jackson, Elizabeth Betsy Jones, Chuck Whitnell, Nate Cox, Nick Summers, and then finally Jana Bennett Adams.
How y'all doing? My name is George Quentin Taylor. I'm running for city council. Never thought last year at this point in time that I would ever be standing in front of y'all people. Never thought I would run for city council ever, but I see there needs to be a change in Mayfield. Something needs to be done. You know, people sit back and say, what can our youth do? What is there to do? There's nothing. I mean, there's some type of change that needs to be done. We need to invest in our kids. I've had the pleasure of living in Mayfield my whole entire life. I'm 31 years old. The only time I left was when I went to college at Campbellsville University, and then I did work in McCracken County Jail for a short period of time. I had a great opportunity to play for Mayfield football. I take pride in that. You know, a lot of people don't show up to football games, but yet do we show up for our kids? We'll sit there and watch them, but what are we going to do for them? I've been raised by two great parents, George Taylor and Sheila Oliver. My late father, George Taylor, served this community for the Mayfield Police Department for a few years, and then he went to McCracken and retired there. Came back to Mayfield and lived the rest of his life and supporting this town to the fullest. If y'all know him, y'all know how his pride is. You know how the Taylors are. We fight for our people. My mother, she served the state for 28 years in the Mayfield Youth Development Center, planting seeds in hundreds of young men's minds, letting them know there's something out there greater. Something out there, there's a lot more potential out there in this world. And I believe that this is what our city should provide for these people, for our kids. I've instilled in my own life of working as adult corrections for 4 years, working with youth as a youth worker for 5 years, and adding on. I work at a mental health facility in Benton. I would love for something like that to happen here in Mayfield. I have a lot of dreams. There's some big dreams. You know, this is my first step forward. So I'm going to go ahead and let my name be put out there. I also worked at Remington Arms. I was working security out there the day they closed. I seen all the people's faces. I had to take their badges when they walked out. Can you imagine the emotions they endured, their families, their stress? Mayfield has seen many hardships. Families have struggled. Many families have moved out of this town to able to find more opportunities. We should keep our families here. We should plant seeds here. We should provide a strong foundation for our future generations. We have believed that we have provided our youth with the tools to keep our community together and successful. Our youth needs to know that Mayfield and Grace County came together to work hard for them. A lot of times you hear Mayfield and Grace County are going against each other. It's not just on the football fields, the basketball fields, it's in our community, it's in our courthouses, it's in our town hall. Our generation now is not like any other we've had before. Our youth are lost in this world and have no path, but as a community we should come together and show them that there is a path out there. On my signs around you'll see, believe in our future, remember our past. We have to believe in our future and believe that we can make our town greater than ever before. They will reach great milestones and make history for themselves. However, remembering our past and our roots in which we come from. Our community is such a great untapped culture, we should all look at each other. I believe in Mayfield and I believe there's a need for change. I want to work hard to make this town something for the kids and all the families in this community. I will be the voice for the community. I will stand up for the rights of the people in this town, and I'm an advocate for the growth and opportunity. I ask for your vote, support, and trust. Change can happen. Thank you.
Hey folks, my name is Brad Rogers. Lived in Mayfield a long time, 50 years in fact, just about. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad that I worked for the city of Mayfield for 15 years. Worked for 3 mayors. I think I learned from each of them. And also worked for the PAD office for 7 years. So I think I've got some work experience that would be beneficial for the city council. And we've got a good city council now. There's not one that I don't like. I've worked with almost all of them, and they're good folks. I just think I can add to it and try to improve the city. This town's been really good to my wife and I, our 3 daughters. That's why I'm running. I'm not going to take a lot of time. There's a lot of people up here, but I need your vote. I can't do it without you guys. Please vote for me May 22nd and hopefully November. Thank you.
I am not Keith Roach. I don't know if anybody knows that. I'm a girl. My name is Bethany. I'm here tonight for him because he is teaching a class at Summit Christian University. Does anybody in here, raise your hands, know what that is? Yeah. Everybody should raise their hands. Check it out on Facebook if you don't. It is a Christian university here based in Mayfield that he has worked really hard on starting. So I think everybody should check that out. I'm going to read a letter that he wrote for you all now. My name is Keith Roach, and I'm running for City Council. I have lived in Mayfield for 20 years with my wife, Linda. She's back there. Everybody, wave at Linda. She works at Mayfield Middle School. And 3 children. My children grew up in the city school system, and 2 of them still reside in the area. I was the chair of the Behavioral Studies Department at Mid-Continent University for 16 years. Presently, I am serving as president and founder of Summit Christian University. I attend Community Fellowship Baptist Church, where we have been members since the inception. My decision to run for City Council begins with a desire to serve from a long time ago. As a high school student in Knoxville, Tennessee, I discovered that I could help my fellow students by serving as a class officer. That desire to serve continued into college when I attended Cumberland College, now the University of the Cumberlands, in Williamsburg, Kentucky. I had answered a call to full-time service in the ministry and chose the counseling profession to fulfill God's call. I had a private practice in counseling people of all ages and situations for 28 years with over 26,000 hours of face-to-face time with people. These experiences with listening, teaching, guiding, and directing have given me the skills to be a leader that can make decisions that are good for the economy and community which we call home. I am a critical thinker, a passionate believer in what is good and true, an innovative leader, and decisive when it comes to tough decisions. I listen to the whole story in order to make the best decisions. This is what I will do as your city councilman: listen to all sides of a matter, research the possibilities, and make the best decision for our community with the highest integrity possible. I would appreciate your vote and support for the position of city council in May and November.
Okay, to make this a little simpler, I'm just going to call them 3 at a time. Next up, we have Carol Todd, followed by Derek Herndon, and then Johnny Jackson.
Good evening. My name is Carol Todd. As of this year, I have been a resident of Mayfield for 30 years. I came here with my husband, Charles K. Todd, when he retired from the United States Air Force, which a year or so later, he became a member or employed at the Mayfield Police Department, where unfortunately he lost his life in the line of duty. I have 3 sons. My youngest son, who stays with me, I'm his caregiver, he has autism. I have been very active in this community since I've been here. I have served on the Police Evaluation Committee. I served on the Human Rights Commission for 18 plus years. And I served on the J.U. Cable Board for 8 years. And currently I'm serving on the Mayfield Cable Board. Also, I was employed here at F&B Bank when it was First National Bank for 9.5 years. And as I stated before, when I was asked to run for Mayfield City Council, I actually laughed because I'm not a politician. And I thought, really? And so I decided, well, I prayed about it, and I put feelers out to different people, and they said, go ahead and run. And I said, well, I just do the best job that I can do. I'm not making promises about anything, because I won't know until I get there, but I would appreciate your vote May the 22nd. Thank you.
I'm
may not need this. Hello, everybody. My name's Derek Herndon. I'm so grateful to be here. Mr. Heath, I'm glad you don't have a citation book. I've seen a bunch of people run your stop sign tonight. But I want to thank the Purchase Players for opening up this beautiful facility that they have tonight to us. Man, the reception that they've given us is just overwhelming. And the concession stand's still open back there. But I'm a lifelong resident of Graves County, Mayfield. My mother and father was David and Jane Herndon. My father was a labor leader down at General Tire when they was at their max. They employed 2,800 at one time, and my dad was the president of the union. And my mother, she is a very successful hairdresser in this town for over 40 years. I currently serve on the Graves County D-Line Food Pantry Board of Directors. And a little plug to them, this Saturday out Trace Creek's a big fundraiser for us. It's our old Empty Bowls project. Anybody come out, another great community event, and I'm just a privilege to be a small part of such a great big community event. I also work at Burn Funeral Home. I live and work right here in Mayfield. I'm not hard to find. If you come looking for me, if you need my phone number, it's not hard to get. I agree with Brad. You know, there's a lot of good people sitting on our city council right now, but good people don't get results. You know, it's hard to be part of the solution if you're part of the problem. You know, and it's time that we start treating everybody fairly. When I began this campaign, I got in here because I was seeing how we were treating some people differently. It depended on who your landlord was or who your neighbor was or what part of town you lived in. And it's time for us to take back, this is our town. This is not their town. This is our town. And it's time for us to unite, whether we're black, white, Hispanic. You know, we've got to do this together. You know, they kidded me because I said the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hire an architect to build a bridge. I want to build a bridge from City Hall to the courthouse. Because till we get on the same page, we're not going to do anything. Till we get some representation on this economic development board, we're not going to do anything. You know, annexation is not progress. You know, because we annexed a little more ground, we're not progressing in Mayfield, you know. We've got to get on the same page. I would humbly ask you, you know, I've overcome a lot of obstacles in my life, and I ask you on May the 22nd to vote for Derek Herndon for Mayfield City Council. Thank you.
Hey folks, I'm City Council member and candidate Johnny Jackson, aka the real Johnny Jackson. Thank you. Man, this time around, there's a whole herd running for council, right? 22 of them. 20 or more constitutes a herd for me. 22 for council. I can't believe it. And hey, there's even 2 Johnny Jacksons running for council. In a little town like Mayfield, 2 Johnny Jacksons running. Hey, that's CNN stuff right now. Where's our national coverage? We're going to get Mayfield on the map yet. 2 Johnny Jacksons for city council. But I'll tell you what, there may be multiple Johnny Jacksons, but there's just one real one. I've told my buddy, the other Johnny Jackson, where is he? Where is he tonight? He's not here. But I've told him for years, I'm not the only Johnny Jackson, and I'm not the pretty Johnny Jackson, but I'm the real Johnny Jackson. You better remember that, buddy. But you know what? On the ballot, it's not going to be the real Johnny Jackson. There's some kind of crazy state law that says a pseudonym or a nickname or whatever you had cannot go before the first name. So on the ballot, I'm Johnny the real Jackson. I don't know why, it's just crazy state rule. Anyway, a little bit about myself. I live over on Murray Street in my lovely wife's house. I retired as operations manager for West Kentucky Rural Electric. I graduated from Murray State. I served in the Army, and I've been a Mayfield City Council member for 2 terms now. I serve on the boards of the Lighthouse, the West Kentucky Crime Stoppers, and the Mayfield Graves County Airport. And as a council member, I'm assigned to the Police Committee and the Finance and Administration Committee, and I ride a bicycle everywhere. You see me around on my bicycle? Well, the real Johnny Jackson, why do you ride a bicycle everywhere? Well, for the obvious reason, I burn carbs instead of hydrocarbs, and that's a benefit. But for the other reason, I see a lot of things that other people don't see on that bicycle. And I see some real positive aspects of Mayfield, and some attractive points of Mayfield. And I see some things that aren't so attractive. Yes, we've got building the houses that are in repair, and maybe some of them need demolishing. And yeah, we've got sidewalks that's in disrepair, and we've got places where there are no sidewalks, and we've got streets that are in disrepair. But hey, folks, we are trying. We on your council are trying for this. What we need in Mayfield more than anything is positive growth. That's what we're trying for, positive growth. And you know what? It's hard. It's a challenge, friends. Whoever. There's going to be 2 new council members for sure, and positive growth is a challenge. And one of our biggest challenges, one of our biggest competitors lies about 20 miles to the east in the form of Murray, M-U-R-R-A-Y, Murray, Kentucky. Tough. We've got to overcome it. We've got to beat it. But hey, folks, we've got our pluses. We've got great fire department, police department, public works department. We've got a dedicated code enforcement. We've got great schools. We've got a hospital. We've got an active railroad. We've got a 5,001-foot airport runway with a remodeled terminal, and 5,000 feet. That's the magic number, because that's when the big dogs can put their jets on that. Hey, we're getting parks. We're getting interstate highway coming. Interstate 69 on the northwest side, and business expansion. So you see, Mayfield does have elements for positive growth. All we got to do is hook up. And that's what the real Johnny Jackson is all about, positive growth. Okay, whatever. See y'all around town, and we'll bicycle. Thank you for letting me serve 2 terms. Appreciate your vote.
You ought to try to be David Jones sometime. There's 12 of us in the county. Okay, next up we have Elizabeth Betsy Jones, followed by Chuck Whitnell, and then Nate Cox.
Okay, like you said, my name is Elizabeth Betsy Jones because everybody knows of me as Betsy. That's my nickname. Elizabeth is my legal name. I was born and raised here. Let me give you a little family history. My father used to own Mayfield Planing Mills. His father before him, Tudor G. Jones Sr., owned Mayfield Planing Mills. And my great-grandfather, my father's birth mother's father, H.C. Canada, in 1885, started Mayfield Planing Mill as the largest commercial sawmill in West Kentucky. He owned pretty much the west side of, if it's south of Broadway, west of the railroad tracks, south to Walnut, and back again west to 17th Street, that is pretty well known as the H.C. Canada Plat in the Grace County deed room. He built houses over there for all of his workers and their families. He died in 1933. My grandfather was a salesman that came from Lynchburg, Virginia. He was an immigrant from Wales, southern Wales. He became smitten with Vivian Canada, which was H.C. and Ira Canada's only daughter. And they got married, moved to Lynchburg. Papa Canada, who had started this mill with one of his, like 13 siblings, Benjamin Franklin Canada, and then there was a David Canada, and I know I have a lot of cousins probably in this room, and we've probably never met. But I'm sorry for that. I left home at age 19, 1980. I had worked for a brief time at Purchase Area Development District as a backup typist at the time. But there wasn't a lot of opportunity at the time. So I left and I went to Oklahoma City at 19. And then I traveled. And I lived in a lot of small towns, big cities, and met all kinds of people. I got my education in the medical field. I was an administrative and clinical medical assistant, nationally certified. Obtained that education in Oklahoma while I was raising my son as a teenager by himself. I ran 2 occupational medicine clinics for SSM Healthcare out of St. Louis. I operated another occupational medicine clinic for an independent medical examiner. And then, what usually happens in workers' compensation medical care, they kind of get burned out on it. So I finished by really, okay, well, I'm running for city council, and I'm number 12, and I think I'm between Derek and Cindy, but I am number 12, and first time, but I have a passion for change and growth, and I am ready to get on board to help Mayfield grow, change, and progress. Thank you.
I feel kind of out of place in the Purchase Players building. My mother, when I was a young boy, she sent me to a lady to teach me how to play the piano. And after 3 lessons, the lady says, "Miss Whitnell, you really need to find something else for Chuck to do because this is not going to work out for him." So being here is kind of a unique situation for me. I've been on the city council for 20 years. I've been under 3 mayors. If I put my glasses on, I'm not going to be ready to read my notes. I didn't have to wear glasses before I came on the council, by the way. We've governed under recessions, insurance spikes, limited budgets, a budget at one time where the council members had to take a pay cut. We've had the alcohol votes, we've had tragedies, business expansion, and financial upswings. Through all this, Mayfield has managed to still grow our budget and improve our community appearance. We're a resilient community, and people that I talk to from outside the area, they say they love this community's pride and tradition. I was born and raised in Mayfield. I've been blessed with a strong Christian family and strong role models, and I have a strong education background. I've been honored to serve the community that has done so much for me over the years, and I'm honored to serve that community today. And the reason I serve is because this community has done so much for me and my family. My goal when I took on the position as city council member was to serve all the members in the city of Mayfield. I graduated, I've been a lifelong resident of Mayfield. I graduated from Mayfield in 1983. Went to school at Murray State University. I tell people I have a business degree, an MBA, an undergraduate in teaching, and also a MBA in business. And I tell people that college is the best 13 years of my life. Many people say that being in business and being a school teacher, those two things don't go together. My professional career started as a weekend work crew member at General Tire. Now, people can talk about how devastating it was for the plant to close. I was there. I was there when people lost their jobs, and it just rips my heart out when I drive by the old building and all you see is the concrete slab that's still left. I was fortunate enough to work there for 18 years, and I held positions as quality technician, quality engineer, and quality supervisor. My time is up, and I would appreciate your vote and your support on May the 22nd, and I thank you.
Hello, my name is Nate Cox. I'm running for City Council in Mayfield. This year I'm running for re-election. I grew up in Campbellsville, Kentucky, to a family that understands service. I'm the only male in my family of 3 brothers and my dad not to serve in the military. They told me that there was a word for me in the military. It's called a target. So I had to find something else to do. This fall we took over to 52 years of family service combined, so very proud of that. My dad also worked full-time at the Fruit of the Loom in Campbellsville, Kentucky until it went out of business in Campbellsville in the 90s.
It was the only new industry brought into Campbellsville for around 20 years, so at a very young age, I understood how government complacency can affect the family's livelihood. I played football through college, so I understand what being on a team and working together to accomplish something means. As soon as my high school football career was over, I got a job at Minute Mart in town. I worked 40 plus hours a week until I went to college. Literally the day I went to college, I was working, and worked a full-time job through all 4 years of college while playing football. I learned about business in the class and learned what really happened in a business when I wasn't in class. In my senior year of college, I met my wife, Kate Beasley, at school in Owensboro. We dated until she finished school, and then we're married. I came to Mayfield many times while we were dating to see her. I've watched this town for almost 15 years develop into what it is today. In that time, I fell in love with Mayfield. We went to many football games, ate at Hills, and saw many great things that were in Mayfield that aren't here today. As soon as we were married and my career allowed it, we moved back to Mayfield for good. I do nothing halfway, so as soon as we moved back, I got involved in teaching kids at the church, Mayfield First, right up the road, First Methodist, and that's the church my wife grew up in, and it's the church we got married in. 10 years later, I'm still teaching kids every week. It's been a blast getting to teach the same kids and watching them grow up. 3 of those kids are mine. One of them's here tonight. Wave, Lexi. She's had a ball. She's had a concession open tab, so she's happy. I've watched many of those kids. I fell more and more in love with the town over the 10 years that I've been here. Truth is, even before that, I knew that this was going to be a place where I stayed. I soon realized selfishly that I wanted my family to stay around this place too. What could I do to make that happen? I started kind of looking for ways to get involved, looking for things to do, and around that time, I started kind of seeing what was going on in the city. In 2016, I found what I wanted to do. Mayfield needs good leadership, and I thought I could do it. I chose to run as the only newcomer against the 10 people that were currently on the city council. It has been a pleasure and an honor to serve with everyone that ended up on the council that year when the dust settled. We may not always agree, but no one in the current leadership sets out to purposely hurt the community. I thank them all for what they have done for this town over the years, but now what's next? Using the leadership in place and adding a few new names, we can move this town forward into the future. With I-69 comes several new opportunities that we must get on board with. Grace County is on the map and ready to go. We have consistently been one of the few counties in the purchase that are tracking forward with growth indicators. We are geographically and logistically located in the heart of our area to be the heart of industry. It is more important now than ever that we put the right people in place. While I feel like I can be a part of this growth, I chose to be here at this time to make this place better for our kids, get them to stay here. I chose to be a part of Mayfield. My wife's family has been here for years, so I know the history, but I'm not biased by it. My family goes to church in Mayfield. My kids will all 3 be in Mayfield when my baby starts kindergarten in December, or in August. My kids play ball with your kids in Mayfield. My kids go to tumbling here in Mayfield. At the end of June, my kids will be in the play here at the Purchase Players in Mayfield. I don't need a title to tell me that I'm involved in Mayfield. I am Mayfield. I see it every day, every afternoon, every Friday night in the fall when we're at War Memorial or wherever the Cardinals are that week. Please allow me to continue my 20 years of customer service, insurance, and personal injury law experience to represent the people of Mayfield. I stand here today and ask for your vote on May 22nd and again in November. Thank you all.
And then finally, our last 2 candidates, Nick Summers, followed by Jana Bennett Adams.
Thank you. For the people that don't know me, I'm Nick Summers. I have lived here in the city of Mayfield for the last 34 years. I worked at Goodyear in Union City, Tennessee for 35 years prior to retiring in '09. Sometime in '08, there was a situation in my neighborhood that, well, just didn't please me. It was houses that didn't look good or whatever, and I went to the code enforcement department here in town and asked them, what can we do about that? Or I asked them first, you've got to do something about that. And I was told, we don't have anything on the books that would correct the problem. So I thought, okay, if that's the case, then I'm going to do something about it myself.
and I started going to city council meetings for about 6 months and sitting and watching how things worked. And that's when I decided I was going to run for city council myself. I was elected first time in 2008 for city council, and it has been very much an honor to serve on city council for 8 years. There was one term that I didn't serve, but in 2012. But instead of serving on city council that year, I served on the code enforcement board. And I could see that we had needed a lot of stuff done in this town, in this city, because when you want to bring jobs to town, like everyone is saying, that's one thing that we need. I agree, we need jobs, we need new employers. But how are you going to bring or attract anyone to an area if it's unattractive? And that's one of the main things that I've done in the 4 terms that I'm serving on city council presently. That's the one thing that I have worked with. I've worked with the code enforcement board and the code enforcement department very closely, and in trying to make our city be more appealing, because when employers want to move and bring business to our town, they're going to look around the city. And if they don't see things that are appealing to them, then they're not going to come. And that's the one thing that I have worked on since I've been on city council, and I've enjoyed it. I'm work on many other things also. My time's up, so I've got to go now. So I would really appreciate your vote on May 22nd for city council. Thank you.
Running for re-election for city council. Here he is. Oh, we don't have to do a timer because I'm last. Because anybody that knows me knows I can't do this in 3 minutes. I have to. Okay, I'll try. I've served on city council for 4 terms, and it's something that I absolutely love doing. Serving my community. I've lived in Mayfield for 27 years. I made the choice to live here when I got married to my husband, John Adams. We had our daughter Alex here. We have 4 kids combined. Alex is the youngest, and she was raised here, and she still lives here. She's married to Tyler Goodman. I think it's an absolutely wonderful place to raise a family. It's safe, you know people, and I love that about a small town. It's also the kind of town that anytime there's a disaster, a tragedy, an illness, an accident, this town pulls together, and it's done it time and time again. And to me, that is just unbelievable, because I moved here from a bigger city. I didn't know my next door neighbors, didn't want to know them. Couldn't have told you who lived across the street. All I knew was that I went to work and I came home. I didn't get out and walk around my neighborhood at night. We do that here. We can walk in our neighborhoods. We know our neighbors. So it's a wonderful, wonderful town to live in and raise a family. I've got notes. I don't usually use notes, but I don't usually like to talk about myself a whole lot. But I'm just going to quickly run through some of my I guess, qualifications, if you will, since I've lived in Mayfield. Started on the Animal Shelter Action Society when there were 6 of us that got together one night and decided we need an animal shelter here. I was able to secure a grant. We got the animal shelter built. Okay, I'll go through this really, really quick then. Mayfield Main Street. I've been on the CASA Child Advocacy Board, the Animal Shelter Board, West Kentucky Allied Services Board, Mayfield Electric and Water Board, which I now serve on, Police Department Board Liaison through City Council, the Fire Department Board, and the Code Enforcement Board. And let me tell you something, somebody mentioned it earlier, we have undoubtedly the best police and fire department anywhere. They will rival any department in the state. We truly do. We've got wonderful leadership, and I just can't brag on them enough. I was chosen Volunteer of the Year by the Chamber. Really? Stop. That's a suggestion, right? I am a Kentucky Colonel. I did receive a Master's Level 3 City Government Award. Means nothing to anybody. Kentucky League of Cities, I've gone to every training opportunity that's been offered. And by going to the training, you receive these things. I am a mentor at the middle school. I sponsor the ordinance to ban the synthetic marijuana in our convenience stores and gas stations. JC's, do attend Bethel Church of Christ. This is my family's home, so that makes my daughter 7th generation to attend Bethel Church of Christ. We have a family cemetery out there, so it's family out there. I don't currently work outside the home, so my priorities are my 91-year-old mother, and my family and my city. So I will devote all the time I can and attend everything from picking up trash to dressing up for a banquet. You know, I can go all through the spectrum. So I would appreciate your support and vote. I hope I've earned it. Thank you.
Well, we've had 30 people here. Yes, y'all can go if you want to. I know everybody's itching to get out of here now. We've had a long night. That has to be some kind of record. Please be sure and buy some concessions on the way out. I know it got hot up here. I'm sure y'all got hot down there too. You know, if you want to follow the Republican Party at all, we have a Facebook page. We have quite a large following. We have an email sign up there. And, you know, be safe getting out of here. And good night.